Radio on the Air. Welcome to our Halloween celebration show. Tonight's Radio on the Air proudly presents the world premiere broadcast of another original radio play here at the Jewel Box Theater in Poulsbo, Dracula with a Twist. An adaptation by Ken Jones from the play Dracula on the Rocks with a Twist. Written by Poulsbo's own Thomas Mangert and drawn from Bram Stoker's original classic 1897 novel. But first, a word from our sponsor, Lever Brothers, makers of Lux Liquid Detergent.
It would be hard to find a man who works as many hours a day as we women do. For instance, women spend 5.5 hours every week just doing dishes, and that's only for a family of 4. But Lux Liquid Detergent gives you back some of that time. Lux Liquid is made especially to help do dishes fast and easy. It floats grease right off. Plates, glasses, utensils, even pots and pans come clean really fast. Just a teaspoonful does a dishpan full. One can outlasts several boxes of the leading laundry powder. Your hands stay nice, too. Lux Liquid is almost as mild as Lux toilet soap. The next best thing to a dishwashing machine, that's Lux Liquid. Lever Brothers unconditionally guarantees Lux Liquid is just as wonderful as we say. And the millions of women who have used it have found that Lux Liquid is as good for dishes as Lux Flakes Care is for nylons. Buy it when you mark it. Lux Liquid in the can with the dripless spout. And now, Dracula with a Twist.
Good evening. I am Dracula. But apparently you have heard of me, as your presence tonight listening to this broadcast would attest.
And no doubt you have heard much about me. Well, as to that, let me say that most of what you've heard is untrue. I'm afraid your Mr. Bram Stoker is no exception.
For one thing, I am often referred to in your fiction as Count. Hardly an adequate title, would you not agree? I have always preferred the ancient Bosanian title Grafin, which is not so gender-specific.
It is the title of choice in the Carpathian Mountains where I have of late dwelt.
In my own Transylvania, I am in fact called Altgrafin Dracula. But that is of no matter.
And I am, as you may have noticed, androgyne. I hope this does not disturb you.
Androgyny, man and woman in one, is a wonderful thing. You may note that it is the subject of many of your own greatest works of art.
Ah, well, but your media preoccupations consistently suggest gender understanding is not among your strong points.
Still, you will persist in trying to understand me. You humans must have your explanations.
And all of your endless rationalizations. A result, I suspect, of all the outrageous scientific outbursts that you will insist upon making into your new gods.
Nuclear energy, star travel, electronic communications, and such a charming and modern notion, explaining everything. So very picturesque of you.
But as to your explanations regarding me?
Silver bullets, stakes to the heart, beheadings, full moons and crosses.
All used in such earnest.
Oh, please. As tonight's tale should make plain to you, none of them are of any consequence.
I'm afraid that you must deal with me as I am, not as you might wish me to be.
On the other hand, I really do like to sleep on the soil of my homeland. You got that part right.
However, it is merely an indulgence on my part. I don't need it.
And you could never conceive where is the homeland of my origins. No, not in your wildest imaginings.
It is simply that I have been sleeping this way for centuries.
And that brings me to another thing. You never seem to get my age right.
I am very much older than you think. A hint? I was there when you crawled out from your trees.
In any case, I hope you do read Mr. Stoker's book. It is, nevertheless quite compelling.
In our small time together tonight, we can but touch upon the main points of my story, and unfortunately we must omit many more.
Still, I trust you will find our efforts satisfactory. But enough of this. It is time.
And in fact, I believe congratulations are due you, Mr. Harker, upon passing your articles.
Thank you, Miss Hawkins, but it is no
Oh,
great...
nonsense. You are our 7th new solicitor during my tenure here, following my husband's untimely death. But I can think of none who have completed the examination process so brilliantly.
You are too kind, madam.
Have a seat, young man. Now, here, we have something for you. You are to travel to Transylvania, through southern Germany, into the frontier region between Moldova and Bukovinka, apparently. Our services have been retained by a fellow Dracula, it says here, merely.
Yes, madam.
We have found a purchaser for Corfax Abbey, if you can believe it.
Good heavens, madam. Carfax is but a ruin.
Indeed, an ancient remnant of Catholic England from before the Reformation.
What earthly use could it be to anyone?
That, fortunately, is none of our concern.
You leave tomorrow morning on the boat train for Calais and the Continental Express.
Well, yes, madam, of course.
Here, take this letter. Best become familiar with it. It will serve as your introduction and to confirm your various reservations for conveyances and hotels and whatnot along the way.
Yes, thank you, madam. What marvelous old hand this fellow has. The property is entirely to my tastes.
And we will be delighted to have your young man as our guest. My diligence will meet him at the Borgo Pass.
I am of very old race, and it pleases me that the dead repose in the chapel yards close to my dwelling.
It is not that these days know how properly to honor the dead. The dead travel fast, for it is only there know all that is.
Strange sort of fellow, this Dracula.
Mina, you've received a letter from Jonathan.
You could tell from my face that it was from him.
Oh, yes, dear Mina. And more, you are sad. But just this morning you were saying how our Yorkshire coast is soothing to the pain of his departure.
Oh, your mother's house here at Whitby is lovely, and you both have been the finest of hosts. But you see, Jonathan posted this letter from Bistrita, a tiny village quite near his final destination. And already his journey, it seems, has become quite troublesome.
Really? How so?
Oh, here, you must read it for yourself. He rambles so. It's quite unlike him. He speaks of demons and possession and his own sanity. Carpathian snowstorms, frightening packs of howling wolves, fainting spells.
Oh, Mina, I wish for your sake he had never gone. Oh, but look here, he posted this more than a week ago. Perhaps by now he's sitting at a fine table quite relaxed and enjoying roasted stag along with his Eastern gentlemen.
God in heaven, driver, will this terrible night, will this mad mission never end?
Mein Herr, we are arrived at the Borgo Pass. But come, wir sollen weitergehen. There's no one here.
You are early tonight, Johann, my friend.
Dracula.
Have you the young Englishman aboard? Oh, yes, I see his trunk there, but you were about to take him on to Bukovinka.
Die Toten reiten schnell, Herr Grafen Dracula.
Yes, the dead do travel fast, driver. See that you do not travel so quickly next time, or you might come to harm. Ah, you do have my letter then. Most excellent. And your Mrs. Hawkins, is she well?
Oh yes, Dracula. She sends you her regards and her best wishes regarding...
Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make.
Here now, you must take a glass of our finest golden mediash wine and a plate of proper kashchirka.
I will not join you. I have already fed.
Thank you, I shall. Ah yes, this is delicious.
Willkommen zu meinem Schloss, Herr Harker.
Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring.
Did you girls enjoy your walk along the cliff and in that dreadful graveyard?
It was lovely, Mother. Mina and I met a kindly old sea captain who told us such tales.
Aye, missy, the sea is calm enough now, but look closely. There, just beyond the point. Yes, a storm is brewing.
Really?
Aye, me old bones foretell the tides and other things as well as any barometer. And many a one as is buried up there that knew naught but sunny days. But I that fears we all be under judgment knows when to take cover and bow me old grey hairs.
Oh, good heavens.
Still, it does me heart good to see your pretty faces up here along the cliff's edge, where such ladies as you plunge themselves to the rocks over many a lost seaman. And right here in this cold graveyard ain't they been buried?
Our old Captain Scoggins has accosted you. I have long outgrown the pleasure of listening to the misfortunes of our fellow human beings.
Oh, Mother, surely you don't mean
And I
that.
hope that you, dear Mina, might be counted upon to moderate these dreamy, errant speculations of my daughter.
But, Mother...
You are a hopeless romantic, my dear, indeed. And now with two hearty suitors, and yet you cannot seem to decide between them.
Lucy cannot help bear the burdens of her great beauty and charm and grace. She is not like other...
Nonsense, Mina. I should never have allowed her to attend finishing school in Paris. Beaton's has given her affectations. The French have no morality.
But surely they're a Catholic country after all.
They would all do well to have listened to the vicar's warnings last Sunday, that all about the forces of darkness are gathering around us. Mark my words, Armageddon is coming, and it will probably start in France. He sleeps, sister, but soon he will dance with us.
The master calls him Harker. He is young and fat and strong.
Yes, sister, there will be many kisses for us both.
Make haste then. The master may soon return from his errand in the village. Dare we violate the trust?
Ah, and is he so faithful to us then? Come, sister, he is ours.
You begin. It is your right. The master loved you first.
Ah, yes. Wait, what is that I feel?
What, sister?
It is happening. There are two of us with the master now.
Yes, sister.
But soon the master will bring another to us. Very soon. There will be 3.
I have grown so weak, I must leave this place. But how? When wolves surround these walls, the mountain snow is so deep. Still, is it not better to die as a man, clutched in their terrible jaws, than fall victim to those ghastly women? Tonight, then, somehow I shall risk all and scale these walls. Mina, I shall return to you, or be torn to bits.
Your tea, Mrs. Hopkins.
Thank you, Thompson. Well, now listen to this. At the height of yesterday's dreadful storm, a Russian schooner, later identified as the Demeter, only just avoided collision with the porter of Whitby breakwater and plunged wildly into the churning bay. Alas, the joy of witnesses was dashed of a sudden as it became clear that the vessel, far from slackening its pace, would ram at full speed the harbour wall.
Good Lord, madam.
Only a great beast, resembling of all things a wolf, was seen to leap ashore and immediately disappear into the darkness. Subsequent investigation found that not a living soul was on board. The captain had lashed himself to the helm. His spectral hand alone had guided the lost ship to port.
How was your voyage, Quincy? It's been quite a while, has it not?
Wasn't bad, a little choppy at the end. Hell, we ain't seen each other since your second Boer War.
Really? That long?
Hey, thanks again for letting me camp out here, Seward. God, those staterooms were hell.
Think nothing of it.
Hey, what's all that commotion over there?
Oh, that? It seems my Purfleet Asylum is about to have a new neighbor. That old ruin is Carfax Abbey, which apparently at last has been purchased.
By a ghost, most likely.
No. By a foreigner, though.
Yeah, but it's a wreck. Some fool thinks he can restore that? Oh, there must have been better choices than that around these parts. Not so close to a madhouse.
We prefer to think of ourselves, Quincy, as simply a private accommodation for the greatly disturbed.
It's a nut house, Seward, and you know it. Oh, last night I heard nothing but wild ravens coming out of this place.
Ah, yes, well, I'm afraid that was our Reverend Father Renfield, my Zoophagus patient, an extreme case whose outbursts have caused several disturbances here as of late.
What the hell?
Zoophagus, Quincy. I had to coin the word myself, I'm afraid. It means that he is obsessed with consuming all forms of life. Huh? Insists upon eating nothing but live spiders and mice.
You're kidding.
Afraid not. Life for him is a cumulative process, whereby he can extend his own life by eating the mice that eat the spiders that eat the many flies he entices with the sugar he lays on his windowsill.
Is that really all just spiders and mice?
Yes, so far. I'm afraid we have got quite a lot of both here. Let's see, he did once ask for a cat, which I refused, of course.
Well, that's a relief.
Well, he's not a bad sort, really, at those times when his mania is not on him.
He's nuts.
I have been corresponding about Father Renfield with my dear friend the metaphysician, Professor Van Helsing, at the University of Leiden.
Oh, Van Helsing, eh? That teacher of yourn?
Yes, Quincy, the same.
I seem to remember something about hunting for witches up in the Harz Mountains. Oh, at Halloween.
Yeah, Valspurgisnacht in the Brocken Forest near Schirke. I sent you the write-up about it in the Times last year. I'm afraid it did little to enhance his reputation as a man of science.
Yeah, it did sound pretty far-fetched.
His extraordinary diagnostic skill and his great sense of the intuitive make him the most insightful physician of my acquaintance, Quincy.
Really? Well, I'm just going to have to trust you on that one, Seward. Hey, this Father Renfield, y'all think he's dangerous?
He's only become violent recently, as I say. Something, it seems, has occurred that is making him quite restless.
Lucy, news at last. Jonathan has been found. Oh, you must read this letter. It's from a nun in a convent hospital in Budapest.
My dear Miss Wilhelmina Murray, I write.
At the request of one who loves you dearly, your Mr. Harker is recovered from the brain fever since his long stay with us, beginning over a month ago.
Oh, Mina, this is wonderful.
Within a week, he be leaving us and traveling to you by train. Until when, our prayers come with him and with you. Respectfully in Christ, Sister Mary Caterina, for Reverend Mother Mayella Superior, Convent of St. Athanasius.
Oh, Mina, finally, to see Jonathan again. You never gave him up.
Oh, I knew. My heart would have told me if his heart had ceased to beat.
Quickly now, my dear Mina. We must make preparations for his return.
My wonderful news has not prevented me, Lucy, from noticing that you have been uneasy all day.
How not, Mina? In a fortnight, 2 suitors will be putting questions to me that I fear I cannot answer.
Oh, vain girl. You think only of yourself. These men will probably spend most of their time on the moors, shooting grouse. Perhaps it is just the season which calls them to us.
Ah, Mina, you humor me. You are such a comfort after all. And you are right to chastise me, for it is not just this choice which occupies me.
Really? How so?
Lately, as you have not been unaware, my mind, nay, my entire being has been as if under siege. Some mysterious preoccupation or perhaps premonition that I cannot name haunts me.
Oh, Lucy, my dearest, what can I do?
Nothing, I fear. Nothing is to be done, I'm afraid. This thing I feel, this haunting feeling, must, I fear, simply live itself out. Meanwhile, my dear Mina, I pray you will stay close to me.
Oh, of course, Lucy, of course. I shall be with you always. Lucy, wake up! Oh, dear Lord, you have walked in your sleep again.
Where am I? Where has he gone?
Gone? Oh, Lucy, dear, you are in the graveyard, on the cliffs. Oh, I feared so for your life. I came looking for you, and the fog was so thick I could scarcely see you.
Was he real? He was tall and so dark. And wings. Were there wings?
Oh, Lucy, dear, what are you saying? There is no one. We are quite alone. Now try to walk, dear. The night mist is closing in about us again. Tell me, John, what do you think?
Well, I'm alarmed, of course, Mina. Lucy's behavior in her sudden weakened state, as you describe it, is certainly most disturbing.
Oh, I'm so very worried for her.
It would seem to demand someone much more highly specialized than myself, with the requisite knowledge and unique skill to provide a possible cure.
Oh, yes, I see.
I shall seek the assistance of my Professor Van Helsing at Leiden University in the Netherlands. He, I'm certain, will want to join us immediately when he hears the particulars of her condition.
I hope that my address was not interminable.
Never, Professor. Impossible.
Then you did not find offensive my assertion that as you gentlemen enter your careers, and I leave mine, that this new scientific medical profession, which you also energetically embrace, is as yet a quite untested hypothesis.
We have never doubted your sincerity, Professor.
Good. Still, no commencement gathering could be complete without the raving admonishings of an old fool.
Oh no, Professor.
It is not long, after all, since we doctors believed that all disease was an imbalance of the humors of the body, in the lymph, in the fluids, in the blood.
Oh, surely, Professor. We are now moving beyond
yes,
such...
you smile. But do not the glands have their own infusions, of which we still know but little? Disease remains a condition of the whole body, not only a part.
Well, certainly it does, but...
You have laughed when I persisted in using the word soul, because you do not know where to look for it.
Oh, surely now, Professor. You wouldn't
Beware,
imply that...
my son, do not become a mechanic. Do not delude yourself that the human body is but a fascinating mechanism.
Well, I'm not saying that, but...
Are we only infinitely complex clockworks? What of death, then? Do you pretend to understand how a creature can be living before you in one moment and be but a lifeless husk in the next? How is it possible? Can you tell me that?
An urgent telegram, Herr Professor. You are summoned to London.
Lucy, dear. Lucy, John Seward, and Quincy Morris have come to visit you.
Oh, no, Mina. I cannot see them. You must send them away. I would not have them look on me in such a state as this.
Oh, but it is just what you do need to get you out of this dark curtained bedchamber and into the light.
Oh, no, Mina. I cannot bear the sun. Moonlight only I must have. And the dark of night, when the winds blow and the sea is breaking on the cliff walls. And he comes.
He? Lucy, are you raving again? Who do you speak of? Some specter of the night of your own imaginings?
Oh, no, Mina, no. He is real. Oh, so very real.
Of course, John. I come to offer my old friend what aid I can.
I cannot say, Professor, what a relief it is to hear you say that. We need you most urgently. The situation here daily seems to worsen and to become more perplexing. It has quite put all of us into a state of utter dismay.
Ah, you English are worse than my colleagues in Leyden. You believe in nothing which you cannot see and touch. But now I'm here. I trust you will allow me to visit a while with the subject of our correspondence, your patient, Father Renfield.
Why, certainly, Professor.
I tell you, John, Lucy is acting like a mad woman.
Please, Miss Westenra, allow me to introduce my friend, Professor Abraham von Helsing from the University at Leyden.
You are most welcome, Professor, if indeed you can make anything out of all these happenings. I'm reaching the very end of my tether.
I am at your service, my dear madam, to provide all that is in my power to...
Oh, she is so different in the night from the gentle, sweet young woman that you'll meet this afternoon.
Ah, just so.
Ah, yes. At night, she becomes suddenly intractable, and in spite of her weakness and her ghastly pallor, we have not been able to restrain her, you see, from striking off outside alone, late into the night. I'm afraid that nothing is of any use to stop her.
Lucy, dear, wake up. It's John.
Oh, John, how can you bear to see me like this?
Look, I have brought my old friend, Professor Van Helsing. We must be looking into your health, dear Lucy.
Good evening, my dear lady. It delights me to make the acquaintance of such a charming and beautiful young Fräulein. Now tell me, young lady, when was it that you did first begin to feel the effects of this malady?
Oh, you will laugh, Professor. It was upon hearing the dire tales of an old sea captain up along the cliffs. Something in his words has perhaps stirred these wild yearnings and my operatic longings.
Ah, perhaps. Well, we will soon see about that. The Reverend Father might be sleeping, so let me announce you first, Doctor. Father Renfield, we've brought you a visitor, we have. A fine gentleman wanting to speak to you. I'll be just outside, Doctor.
This is Professor Van Helsing, Father, from Leiden University. He is my old teacher.
Oh, my Cardinal Wolsey spiders are at it again. Edwina, my giant Tegenaria, has eaten another of her bows, I'm afraid.
Father, perhaps if we could have a moment.
Of course.
It is a great pleasure to meet a theological scholar of your reputation, Father Enfield.
You are much too kind, Professor.
I have come to seek counsel from you regarding certain questions that have occupied me greatly of late.
I only hope I can be of some meaningful assistance, Professor. Questions, you say, my son?
Why, yes. What, in your opinion, Father, is the source of life?
Do you refer to its final cause or the efficient cause of its being?
The final, I should think.
Well, yes, I speak in the Aristotelian sense, of course. God is both the origin and the end of all things.
Well, yes, of course.
So God is the source of life and its final goal.
But what if...
You see, each essence perfects itself by being precisely what it is and by ridding itself entirely of all which it is not.
Forgive me, Father, but you...
Oh, life has a common source, and just so all life must tend to one final end.
Now, Renfield, that'll do. You're getting obstreperous. That's what we're getting. It's what the doctor calls it.
Quite right, my son. Quite right.
Have you finished, Professor?
No, John. I have one final question.
If you insist, Professor.
I'm just outside, Doctor. What have your studies revealed to you of the forces of darkness?
Oh, we must go carefully here. There are words. Which one dares not speak? Yet our Lord Jesus the Christ is the Word of God incarnate. Notwithstanding, I seek a higher knowledge, such as Paracelsus of Eiselden reveals in his Alphabet of the Magi. No! The Lord calls upon each of us to follow the cardinal virtues, for they... Bah! The insolence of empty action alone. Life proceeds from life alone and only, for in the blood is the life.
But then, when that which has been living dies, where then does the life dwell?
Why, nowhere, my son. That life is nothing. That which is dead is dead. Only from life can we feed upon life. To hold at bay death.
What then, Father Enfield, of the undead?
You dare to speak that word, mortal? Beware, for this surely you will be judged. No. But what of the friendship man must feel for God? There cannot be judgment only. Caritas!
Oh my, he's collapsed, hasn't he? He's after having one of his fits again. You won't get no more out of him today.
Look here, Professor. Seward and me, we're all war campaigners. Ain't nothing human's gonna shock us.
Well, that may be, Mr. Morris.
Professor, if you would pardon me, it's just that we must have at least some idea of what we're dealing with.
Quite right, John. Quite right. And what if, Mr. Morris, what we deal with here is not, in fact, human?
How's that?
You have encountered nothing, I dare say, like this case in your America.
Look, my Bowie knife, big as a broadsword, is gonna handle any case you can offer up, Professor.
We shall see about that. Let me say this to you all. Your Lucy is indeed in great danger, But I would not be here if she was merely ill.
Wait, you mean it's her mind?
I do not think the professor is speaking of her mental state.
Indeed not, John. If there is madness here, it is in the personage of the thing which she has fixed herself upon, not in her fixation.
You're gonna have to give me that one again.
I think, Quincy, that the professor is saying we must keep an open mind.
Look, I love this woman, damn it. Now, enough of the double talk. What the hell are you telling us?
You have both of you, seen her teeth, have you not?
What the hell? Teeth?
Her canines, gentlemen, they have sharpened considerably and elongated, have they not? And are they not now starkly white?
Well, actually, yes, you are quite right. I noticed that immediately, but I attributed that to a general
You
state
must
of
know
anemia.
this, gentlemen. Your Miss Lucy is, in short, becoming a vampire before your very eyes.
You have been listening to Dracula with a Twist, which is being brought to you by the Lever Brothers.
Ladies, have you tried Lux liquid detergent yet? You know, we women certainly have a right to complain about all the time spent doing dishes. And doing dishes is only one of the chores women have to do every day. And it certainly proves the truth of the saying, women's work is never done. But at least it's done easier with Lux liquid detergent. Yes, with Lux liquid you get those dishes out of the way really fast and easy. Made especially for dishwashing, Lux liquid floats grease off. It gets plates and glasses sparkling clean. And you can skip the drying too. Just rinse and let them drain dry. Just a teaspoonful does a dishpan full. One can outlasts several boxes of the leading laundry powder. And when you use Lux liquid, your hands stay nice. Lux liquid's almost as mild as Lux toilet soap. And Lux liquid is packed right in a can that won't break, with a dripless spout that prevents spilling over the sides. You will like Lux liquid as much for dishes as you like Lux flakes for nylons. And remember that Lux liquid, like all Lever Brothers products, is unconditionally guaranteed. Your money back if you don't agree. It's every bit as good as we say it is. Lux liquid is the next best thing to having your own dishwashing machine, like the ones you see in industry and large restaurants. Buy a can of Lux liquid next time you market. You'll be glad you did. Stay tuned after our brief intermission for the second portion of tonight's original Radio on the Air broadcast of Dracula with a Twist.